This example is Let's Stick Together, the Brian Ferry song, which he is playing in A and D, and then it goes up to E. And the way to embellish this is to throw in a minor, throw in the relative minor, which is kind of the same as throwing in a 6 chord. So from an A, the relative minor is an F sharp minor, so it's this finger. When it goes to the D, you can the minor is here. Remember, this is a C-shaped chord, so it's an A minor, which is our relative, but that actually makes, what does that make? In D, it makes it a B minor chord. And in E, the same shape, the A minor shape thrown over a C-shaped bar chord, gives us it's actually a C sharp minor. But again, the name of the chord's not important. Just knowing the position there is where you get your 6th. And also, from this shape, you probably find it easier to get your 6th just by letting go of that finger as well. Remember, that's your octave to your major 7th, your 7th, there's your 6th. Which sounds the same as... So you can do either way. But then that then allows you to play the song. You know we made a vow to leave one another never. So just the whole song, you're kind of alternating the major chord with a little 6th chord or a relative minor chord. Come on and stick together. You know we made a vow not to leave one another ever. So very common rock and roll kind of shape is to go from the major to the 6th and back. This example's really similar. It's for the Beach Boys, the song Do It Again, where they're playing a major chord, a 6th chord, and a 7th chord, and then going back to 6th and major. Or you could see it in a bar chord shape. Alternating between major, 6, 7, 6. Well, I've been thinking about all the places we've surfed and danced and all the faces we've missed. So let's get back together and do it again. Or you could play your C here. There's the 6th and the 7th and the 6th again. So again, another really common rock and roll kind of shape, embellishment. And let's see, if I was playing it in, let's play an F sharp chord. So there's an F-shaped chord. So that means your minor and your 6 are on the 3rd string here. And then if it changes to an A-shaped chord, your minor and your 7th would be your 6th there, and your 7th would be on the 2nd string. We've looked at the C-shaped chord, which is really just letting go and then playing your 7th. So there's the pattern in all the different bar chord shapes. Really simple one here in the song Sorrow by David Bowie, where you're in G, going to C, then D. So the chords are really easy, and this one is just throwing in it's a sus4 chord. With your long blonde hair, eyes of blue. Sorrow. So you recognize that straight away as a real signature to the rhythm. Roll. Sorrow. It's just a little sus chord beat thrown in every, I don't know, 4 counts or something. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm in a sorrow. With your long blonde hair and your eyes are blue. The only thing I ever got from you was sorrow. Sorrow. You see, it's sort of punctuating the bits where he's not singing, where it just goes to a straight count. That's a lovely place to throw in the sus chord, which just keeps a little bit of melody going. With your long blonde hair and your eyes are blue, the only thing I ever got from you was sorrow. Sorrow. So you could just sing over the straight chord if you wanted, and then use the sus chords to punctuate the gaps. But yeah, just sus4 chords makes that song really sort of pop. Here's an example that's good for sus2 chords. Paul Simon playing Late in the Evening, where he's playing an F and B flat. And then it goes to a C. But you can hear straight away when you play a sus chord from an F. I could also play it by lifting this finger off. And then from a B flat. And then the C sus chord. Or another good sus chord would be to hit the 5th fret. You can just hear that straight away gives a rhythm that goes through the whole song, and it really makes you recognise the Late in the Evening rhythm, which is just a lot nicer than playing the straight major chords. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in the strumming hand, which is kind of giving you that rhythm. I'm muting some strings, I'm kind of strumming quite fast, but really as soon as I put the sus chords in, that's what makes the rhythm work. Here's another really simple example with a sus2 chord. The opening chords for Brown Eyed Girl, starting in G, C, G, and D. And by throwing in the sus chords, so all it is from your major to your sus2 chord, back to the major, then when you're in C, so it's just going between the major and the sus2, and this is what it sounds like. And then you start singing. So you don't always have to do these sorts of embellishments over the whole song. Sometimes that's too much. But during an instrumental or during the lead break kind of parts and introductions like that, especially when just that whole melody is so recognizable. You know exactly what song I'm playing. And all it's doing is going from a major to the sus2 back to the major. It's actually very simple, even though it sounds a bit more complicated than it is. This last example, I'm going to use Creedence Clearwater's Bad Moon Rising in D, A and G. And I always do this, it starts... Now I don't think I've ever shown you a fifth note, but it in this position on a C-shaped bar chord, it actually makes total sense when you play the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the fifth, then the sixth. So fifth is often a weird one. It's a good melody note, but in this position and quite a lot of other positions, it cuts out one of the notes. So if I played this as a fifth chord, what I'm doing is I'm barring both those strings. So I'm still getting my octave, but I'm getting the fifth note. And I'm still barring over here. But if you listen, these two strings are the same, an octave apart. And these two strings are the same, an octave apart. So it's only a two-note chord. We've kind of lost the third, which means it's a bit like a power chord that guitar players play. It's just a two-note chord, which could be major or minor because there's no third. You've actually it's just a really strong root note, the root and the fifth. But the way I'm using it in this part of the song is just to go from my major shape, let go for a sixth shape, and then place my finger back for the fifth. I see a bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way. Which again just gives an extra added rhythm to the gaps where there's no singing. Really simple, but really quite effective. And your little finger's not doing much, your hand's not changing much, your little finger's not really doing much, except incorporating the fifth note, which is right below on the same fret. And then say when you get, just another example with using the same song, you get to the lead break, instead of playing your D and your A and your G down here as open chords like I normally would, this is a good chance to keep your hand in the same position but now slide up to chords that we already know up here. There's your A and your G there. Kind of gives you a different feel. You've been doing this through the whole song and through all the lead break, through all the verses and chord changes, choruses. When you get to your lead break and you're not singing anything, slide up to a higher octave, and then you can do the same thing up here. And you've kind of got a little version of a lead break just by changing the, you're sort of changing the phrasing, but you're just changing the octave of your chord. It's still a C-shaped bar chord, your hand doesn't change, but you've slid all the way up to where this is now an A on the 9th fret. There's your G on the 7th fret, and back down to your D. So bar chords in this instance, for lead break kind of things, you don't have to be good at a lead break, but changing your rhythm, using the bar chords to just change the shape and the sound, actually is going to really help filling in those gaps. So, yeah, look, that's a lot that I've just gone through, lots of different examples. But I don't know that I can teach any more than that. I've kind of shown all the different shapes of bar chords. Look, let's say, there I am, g'day. Thanks if you've followed this far. I really appreciate it. I hope you've learnt something. I hope you can keep exploring and doing a lot more with your newfound knowledge of the shapes that you can play, how you now find chords that you previously had no idea how to find, and how easy it actually is to play some patterns in a bar chord shape rather than having to learn the open shapes. It's going to open up a whole world of possibility in your ukulele playing. So thanks for sticking with it. Go back, review all the lessons that I've done previously, and good luck. Cheers.